represents. What I call it is the tea bag effect. You can't, if you put a tea bag in hot water, you want all the ingredients in the bag to be essentially in the water. And you can't have the ingredients in the water necessarily if they're not in the bag. It just goes vice versa. So essentially, if you want a multicultural representation of church, you need a multicultural representation of your church. And to do that, you need to build it on purpose. Your church needs to be a tea bag, basically, that has all these ingredients, there's all these nuances that invite multicultural, and it represents multicultural. For example, you go to some churches and you can just tell this is a white church, this is an African church. I've spoken in Indonesian churches, Caribbean churches, the Philippine churches, and some churches associate themselves obviously by the language that they speak and things of that nature. But in order to build on purpose, there's a few things that churches can do. And number one is, I would say, build a culture on purpose that reflects the culture that you're already in. Paul said, I became all things to all people that I may win some. So when Paul's walking through Greece, he's looking at their gods and he's like, oh, he's not like, oh, you wicked people for worshiping gods. He sees one called the unknown God, and that's his access point to speak the gospel. He said, I'm going to tell you who that one is. You know Zeus, you know Hermes, you know Diana, but you don't know this one, the unknown. Let me tell you who this one is. And he's able to, through their culture, transform the way they think. So you've got to, first of all, if you don't love the culture of where you are, then forget about cultural diversity. For example, if you're in London, you need to, or Stratford, or a particular city, you need to know the history of the city. You need to know where it's been to know where it's going. You need to know where it is right now. A lot of churches build just for themselves, but they're not concerned with the locality that they're in. So discovering the uniqueness, the cultures that exist there, and doing a bit of field and desk research. Google, and also go out and spy the land, so to speak. It's very important. But then once you've figured it out, build the culture that's there on purpose in your church. So in England, they love tea and biscuits. They don't want John Price. They don't want curry goat. They like tea and biscuits. They like full English breakfast. Why don't you open your church to the communities to do full English breakfast, tea and coffee, things of that nature that attracts the community you're in. If it's youth that are decadent, then doing stuff with the young people also in the region as well. And that might mean football clubs or basketball clubs, but making sure that you're involved in that way. Another thing that I always suggest, and this may sound really silly, but it's science. It's down to a science. The biggest most multicultural churches in the world, I can list names. It's down to the music. It's what I call the Pied Piper's anointing. You create the sound. Everybody's attracted to sound. From the moment we're children, we hear our mama's heartbeat that soothes us. Sound is so important. So important that when God said, who will go to this battle? God said, Judah will go first. The musician, the sound. When God was choosing who would be the prime minister of all of heaven, he didn't make Michael, he chose a musician, a worship leader. The wisest politicians know this, that they don't have authority over young people. It's the musicians. That's why Obama was probably the most strategic leader, bringing Beyonce and Jay-Z into his cabinet, because it's those people that rule the mind. Music comes from the Greek goddess Muse. It needs to make thoughts one without thinking. So you look at the biggest church in the world, the Bethel, the Hillsongs, the Elevation churches, multicultural. It's not all white, it's multicultural. It's because they've gone for the popular sound. Pop music is a genre. R&B will attract fat people. You know what I'm saying? But popular culture attracts all kinds of people. So you look at the biggest churches. People don't actually come for the preacher.
Yeah.
The biggest churches, they don't necessarily always have the most prolific speaker. People usually come because they don't want to miss that praise and worship time. Now, if I come to your church, Roadman, I walk in, I got my hood on, and I hear talking drum, glory, honor, forget multicultural.
Yeah.
Forget it. And this is the hardest thing for churches that are steeped in their culture to understand. That, and I do consultation for a lot of churches, and they say, why aren't we attracting more young people? Why aren't we attracting more of the Caucasian or the different races of people? I always say, well, your presentation of the gospel, how you're presenting it right now, the music, the sound, the experience, you're an experience. So when I walk into your midst, am I having an African or Caribbean or a particular culture experience, or am I having a popular culture experience? And I'll say this last point. It says, nothing's more powerful than the word of God.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible says heaven and earth will pass away, but not even a comma will pass on the word. But there is something that defeats the word of God that the Bible identifies. Only one thing is more powerful than the word. It says your culture and tradition have made the word of no effect. So where the word should be reaching, Jesus had the ability to reach the Samaritan, someone who was untouchable in society. And he broke a gender stereotype in that conversation. He broke a racial stereotype in that conversation. He broke a religious stereotype in that one conversation. Even his disciples came and said, he's speaking to a woman and a Samaritan. See, love breaks through that because love knows how to adjust and become what that person is. And I find with a lot of churches, they're so in love with their culture. They're more in love with their culture than they are in love with the land that they're in. And so they're trying to imprint their culture on the United Kingdom. And there is a collective culture of the United Kingdom. It comes from the value systems that governments pass down. And yes, it is a multicultural, but does your church reflect that in everything it does in its presentation? So that's my input on that.
No, that's deep.